Hello and welcome with me to discover this fourth book of the Lone Wolf gamebook adventure. The title of the book today is Chasm of Doom. So first I will start by filling the adventure fit with the stats of the previous book. So on the previous book I got an innate combat skill. Combat skill determine your fighting skill. Of 19, which is I think the maximum. My endurance was the lower you can have, it's 20. Then I've got some powers: Mind Blast, Camouflage, Mind Shield, Sixth Sense, Healing, Tracking, and Hunting. Okay. In my inventory, no, before that, I've got 45 gold. Okay. In my inventory, I've got some Lamp Spear hubs, which can heal you for 3 endurance points. I've got a potion of Lamp Spear, also heal you for 5 endurance points. I've got a rope, which take 2 place in your inventory. And finally, a potion of Alether, which give you a +4 combat skill bonus for 1 combat. Also, I've got a padded leather weight coat, which give you an endurance bonus of 2. I've got a blue stone triangle and a fire sphere and a diamond. So that's basically item I got in previous book. I don't know if I will use them in this adventure. And I also got a silver helm, which gives you combat skill +2. And as a weapon, I'm using a magic spear. And mainly I'm using a magical sword, the most powerful weapon in the whole universe, the Summer Sword, which gives you an awesome bonus of +8 to your combat skill. And also this weapon can absorb magic and double damage against undead. So this gives us a 2 bonus, 2 bonus plus 8, 10 bonus. So I have a combat skill of 29. And I think that's all. Yep. So on the right part of the screen you can see a tree with just number 1 for now, but I will add more numbers when I will progress into the story, so I can keep track of what I've done. When I will die, I will start from the beginning each time. But well, it's always good to see how much you progress into the story. So that's why I'm keeping track. Okay. Also, you can play yourself this game by going at this address, projectiron.org. You can find the link at the bottom of the stream. So well, let's start this 4th adventure. You are Lone Wolf, last of the K-Lords. To the south of your homeland of Summerland lies a rich but remote mining province of Rhiannon. when a regular shipment of gold suddenly vanishes. The king dispatches a patrol of his best cavalry to investigate the suspected theft. They do not return. In the Chasm of Doom, you are sent to recover the missing gold and locate the lost patrol. But you soon discover that it is a mission of direful consequence, for the fate of your country is at stake. So, the story so far. Rhiannon is a remote mining province to the south of your homeland, Summerland, nestling between the sullen peaks of the Dern Crag and the Maken Mountains. The people of this province have long prospered from their toil in the ore-rich mines, living and enjoying their wealth under the protection of their lord Baron Vanaland. The gold and gems that are mined at Rhiannon yield an important source of revenue for your homeland. The heavily guarded convoy of wagons that leave the province and journey to the capital has become a regular monthly routine. A routine that had never been broken until 1 month ago, when suddenly all contact with Rhiannon ceased. A troop of 100 cavalry from the King's Guard were immediately dispatched to investigate the whereabouts of the missing convoy. Their commanding officer, Captain Val, was ordered to report back to the king as soon as contact was made, but he and his men have not returned. They too have disappeared without trace. The king has summoned you, Lone Wolf, last of the K-Lords, to his citadel at Holmgard. Your quest is to find Captain Val and his men, discover what had happened to the missing convoy, and to uncover the veil of mystery that now hangs over Rhiannon. The king has gathered a company of border rangers, a unit of elite scouts, all of whom are skilled in horsemanship and outdoor survival. He has ordered these 50 men to accompany you in the hope that, with your leadership, they may succeed where the larger and more visible force failed. As you and your men enter the royal armory to equip yourself for the long ride ahead, you glimpse a black owl perched on the window ledge high above. It flies away, but not before a shiver has run down your spine. In Holmgard, the crow is a bird of ill omen. Captain Val. We meet this guy in a previous book. I think. I'm pretty sure he was dead. Well. The game rules. Okay, already know about that. If you have successfully completed any of the previous adventures in the Lone Wolf series, you will already have your combat skill, endurance point, and Kai discipline, which you can now carry over with you to book 4. Yep, that's what I've done. You may also carry over any weapon and special items that you held at the end of your last adventure. And these should be entered on your... okay. They speak about weapon special item. So maybe I should not have these, since this is just normal inventory. Yep, okay. You are still limited to 2 weapon and 8 backpack items. Okay, so let's say I can carry over this. You may choose 1 bonus Kai discipline to add to your action chart for every Lone Wolf adventure you have successfully completed. Yes, I have completed 3 adventures, so I have a lot of skills now. I'm just missing force, the animal kinship, the mind over matter, and the weapon skill. That's just what I'm missing. So it's time to choose a new Kai discipline. Animal kinship. Thing that could be good. This skill enables the Kylo to communicate with some animals and to be able to guess the intentions of others. Well, the big choice I think is between the animal kinship and the mind over matter. Mastery of this discipline enables the Kylor to move small objects with his powers of concentration. Well, in previous book, I think the animal kinship was more useful than a mind over matter. I think mind over matter is just a cool skill, but you always find another way. The animal kinship can save your life since some animal can give you good tips. Okay, I will take the animal kinship. Equipment. Before leaving home guard on your ride south, you are given a map of the Southland. Okay, let's take a look at the map. So this is the map, and we're starting at home guard. If I show the map of the first book, this was the map. So this is the map of the first book. In the first book, you start at the Kai Monastery and you journey to Ormgard, the capital of the Summerland, which is this place. In the second book, you go all the way to this place, the capital of the Durenor. And in the third book, you take a boat and you go on the north, right here, to Kalt. So in the fourth book, this one, we will go south this time to this way. There will be a lot to travel, I think. We want to go to Rhiannon. I think we want to go here, Rhiannon. Well, it looks pretty straightforward. We just have to go south by the road. Maybe by the mountain right here, the Durncrag mountain. Okay. A badge of rank that you wear upon the sleeve of your tunic, and a pouch of gold. To find out how much gold is in a pouch, pick a number from random. Now add 10 to the number you have picked to the total equal to the number of gold inside the pouch. And you may now enter this number, okay? If you have successfully completed previous Lone Wolf adventures, you may add this sum to the total of any gold you may always possess. Yep. So let's try 0, yeah. So I got only 10 gold. 5. Well, right now I have a lot of gold, but in the Lone Wolf, there is a lot of situation where you can just lose all your gold or all your equipment. That happen a lot. Okay. You may take your pick of the following item. In addition to those you already possess, but remember you may only carry 2 weapons. You may take up to 6 of the following. Wow, really? 6. Well, let's take each of these potions restore 4. Let's take 2 potions of Lamspore. I think that count for 2. Oh, potion of Lamspore. Restore 4 EP. Then we have a sword, a spear, 5 ration. Okay. Let's take a special ration. Meal. Maybe I should remove these Lamspore herbs and take a meal instead. So this way I have 2 meal. Chainmail waistcoat, okay. Already have 1. Oh, but this one adds 4 endurance points. So that's better than the one I have. Chain it. Okay. Then a shield. These are 2 points. Okay, special item shields. It's 2 combat skill. Okay. This give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Think that's okay. Yep. Weapon, okay. Rules of combat. Level of training. I'm a journeyman now. Is that good? Yeah. A warman or journeyman. Okay. Kai Wisdom. Your mission will be fraught with danger, for you are about to venture into the bleak and hostile wildlands of the south. Use the map to help you plot your course to Rhiannon. Make notes as you progress through the story, for they will be of great help in your future adventures. Many things that you find will aid you during your adventure. Some special items will be of use in future lone wolf adventures, and others may be red herring of no real use at all. So be selective in what you decide to keep. There are several routes to Rhiannon, but only one will enable you to reach the mining town and find Captain Val with the minimum of danger. A wise choice of Kai disciplines and a great deal of courage should enable any player to complete the mission, no matter how weak his initial combat skill and endurance points score. Successful completion of previous lone wolf adventures is not essential for the success of this quest. And so we start. For 3 days, you lead your brave company of rangers across the lush plains of southern Summerland on the first stage of your urgent mission. The flat, treeless fields surround you with a seemingly endless expanse of width, so high that even though you are in a saddle, it reaches well above your knees. Your horses seems to be swimming through a vast yellow sea of corn that is only interrupted by an occasional track or group of isolated farmhouses. The southern welcome your sudden appearance, but you only make the briefest stop for food and rest, neither wishing to risk becoming a burden nor alarm these good people with your mission. By noon on the fourth day, you reach the pass of Moitura. Here the plains give way to the broken foothills of the Crag Mountains. So we are at the pass of Moitura. Let's quickly take a look. Pass of Moitura. Okay, so we are 4 days to do this. So let's say 4 more, 8, 12. 12 days maybe to get to Rhiannon. Okay. You soon reach a hideaway, the surface cracked and full of potholes heading off toward the south. This is the notorious Rhiannon Pike. South of the pass, the Rhiannon Pike crosses 100 miles of open territory known as Raiders Road. Bandit tribes from the Wildlands and Gaiac warband from the mountain of the west frequently ambush those who travel along the pike, and the regular shipment of gold and gems from the mines at Rhiannon have sometimes yielded rich pickings to these merciless robbers. Fountain flankers! You shout, and immediately 3 groups of rangers peel away from the column and spur their horses to the gallop. You watch with pride as the expert horsemen take up their scouting positions to the front and side of the company. It is late afternoon when a ranger scout approaches. The company Okay. He points toward a craggy outcrop where a thin spiral of wood smoke betrays a hut hidden beneath the overhanging rock. If you wish to investigate the hut, if you wish to ignore the hut and continue on your ride along the Rhiannon Pike. Okay, so this is our first choice. We are on a mission to uncover what's happened to the shipment. Um, so we have no time, I think, to investigate a hut. What the point on investigating a hut, really? So I think we just ride along. You have ridden less than 5 miles when you see a group of wagons on the highway ahead. They are painted in a gaudy mix of bright colors and drawn by teams of oxen. A huge tessellated banner flies above the leading wagon, which bears the following proclamation: The famous Hazagir players, troubadours to the imperial court of Magnamond. Hmm. If you wish to stop to question these traveling minstrels, you wish to ignore them and let them pass. Well, I think it's good to question them. They are minstrels, they may have information, and maybe they saw what happened to the caravan. So, okay, let's talk to them. You signal to the driver to stop. The wagons halt, and a small moon-faced man in a bright pink tunic throws open the rear door of the leading carriage. He shouts and curses the driver as he descends the ladder, pausing only to adjust the cummerbund that barely covers his huge stomach. Seeing your man, he lets out a strangled shriek and fumbles for a short sword hanging at his side. "Bandits! Robbers!" he cries, and wrestles free a sword from his ornate scabbard. A row of anxious faces appear at the wagon windows, but the expression soon changes to a smile when they recognize your summer landing uniforms. "Calm yourself, Yesu," shoots an elderly woman. "They are summer landing rangers. They will not steal your gold." Laughter rippled along the carriage as the little fat man suddenly unsheathed his sword with such force that he spins around and tumbles to the ground. Whoa. "You must forgive Yesu," said the old woman. "He means you no harm. Raiders' road has made him a nervous wreck." You question the old woman, asking her where they have come from and their destination. You learn that they are a troop of players and have journeyed many miles from their native land of Cluisia in the east. They last played for the people of Eshnar, but it was a disappointing show. It seemed that the town was as quiet as a grave. Those who did come to see them were a sad and sorry crowd. They are now bound for Ormgard and hopefully a more appreciative audience. Okay, let's take a look at the map. They come from Cloesia and they pass by Ishnar. Ishnar, okay. Cloesia is right here. So they travel all the way right here. Ishnar. So something may have happened in Ishnar. So if we have the time, I think we'll go investigate this city before going to Rhiannon. "Light is fading," remarked the old woman. "Perhaps you and your men will camp with us tonight. We will deem it an honor, and will be happy to entertain you all with songs and dancing." You notice a hopeful look in the eyes of your men as they await your decision. Um, well, why not? And also we could provide protection to these troubadours. Yep, let's do that. Set up camp. The wagons are drawn into a circle and you set up camp inside. A ranger is posted to patrol the perimeter. The troubadours construct a small stage onto which strides Yezu. He calls for silence before announcing the title of their play, The Brave Warriors of Summerland, a choice that meets with the hearty approval of your men. During the performance you notice something very odd. Not only is one of the actors using a real sword, but it is a type of sword only issued to officers of the Summer Landing Cavalry. After the play you approach the man to question him about the sword. He looks at you nervously and makes a dash for the darkness of the perimeter of wagons. If you wish to give a chase and have either the Kai discipline of tracking or hunting. Yeah, let's give chase. This man is definitely suspicious. Although the wagons are shrouded in darkness, your Kai sense reveals to you the actor's hiding place. You climb the ladder at the rear of a large caravan, push open the door with your weapon and enter. In the plush candlelit interior of the caravan you find the actor, cowering beneath a blanket in a far corner. You flick the blanket aside and ask a petrified man to explain how he came to possess such a fine sword. I brew it in Ishnar. He stammers, his eyes wider with fear. From the innkeeper of the Peak and Showwall Tavern. He grasps the sword by the blade and offers it to you. If it is your sword I have unwittingly bought, I'm truly sorry. Here, please take it. You grip the brass hilt and examine it closely. There is no doubt it is a Somme Landing cavalry sword, but the inscription on the blade makes your heart miss a bit. Captain Remir Dval, King Guard Regiment. If you wish to keep this sword, mark Captain Dval's sword in your action chart. Yeah, okay, let's keep the sword. So I will just exchange the sword against a magical spear. You gain something big. Okay, Captain Dval's sword. And also, I have to note, I think, this. The Pick and the Shovel Tavern. Let's note this on some paper. So we will definitely need to go to Ishnar. Something happened there. You return to the troubadour stage in time for a meal that has been prepared by your hosts. The streaming broth smells most appetizing. If you wish to accept the meal. If you decline the food, you must now eat a meal from your backpack. Well, I think I don't need to eat a meal. Yep, let's not do that. And I have the I have the hunting skills, so that means I don't need to use a meal for that. The show finally comes to an end, and you make the necessary preparation for a night's sleep. At dawn the next day, you and your company bid farewell to the traveling players and continue on your way to Rhiannon. Pick a random number. 0. Miles after mile, you ride across the flat and desolate landscape surrounding the Rhiannon Pike. You have entered the wide lands south of the Pass of Moytura and cannot use the Kai discipline of hunting to hunt for food in this desolate area. Okay, that's good to know. Yet, in spite of the inspiring view, your men seem in fine spirits. They sing rousing marching songs to relieve the tedium of the journey and help to allay fears of what may lie ahead. During the afternoon, storm clouds gather above the peaks of the Derncrag Mountains to the west, and the roll of distant thunder warns of imminent rain. It is late afternoon when your scouts sight a coaching tavern on the height way ahead. It is a large stone building that had been fortified. If you wish to stop at the tavern for the night, if you decide to brave a possible storm and continue to ride south. Okay, well, there is a storm approaching, so going to the tavern is a good decision, I think. And also it's a fortified one, so if we are going to be attacked, better to be in this place than in the wild with a storm. Okay. And what are the chances to be attacked in a stormy night? The enemy will have to attack us in the middle of a storm. That could be quite difficult for them. So let's go to the tavern. The sound of a tolling bell drifts across the barren landscape. Window shutters slam down, but eyes still peer at you from the arrow slit carved into the walls. You draw your company to halt outside the wide tavern doors. We are some landing. We seek shelter for the night and fodder for our mounts. There is a long pause before a voice answers your call. Pick a random number. 1. Go away, shoots a nervous voice. We are a tavern, not a barracks, shoot another. You try to reason with them, but they are adamant. They will not let you enter. You have no choice but to continue along the highway. Well... You have not ridden far when a storm cloud breaks directly overhead and torrential rain crashed down. Within minutes, the dry and dusty highway is transformed into a quagmire. It will be impossible to set up camp in the storm, so you resolve to continue to ride all night in the hope that the storm will soon pass. During your night ride, you must eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. Okay, so let's eat a meal. By morning the rain has ceased, but you and your men are now very tired from the ordeal. Well, at least the storm is ended. You are about to order your men to make camp when a scout gallops toward you from the east. He points to a line of horsemen on the horizon. Bandits, he cries. You estimate that there are at least 200 of them, and they are riding in your direction. Whoa, 200? We are only 50. So, this could be a deadly battle for us. If you have reached the Kai rank of Warman, yes, I have this. I have reached this level. Well, let's see. The flat wildlands offer no cover in which to hide from the bandit horde. You know that if you are to avoid combat with an enemy which vastly outnumbers you, you must split up your company and try to outrun them. You detach a troop of 10 rangers to follow you and send the remainder off toward the west, in the hope that they may lure the bandit away to the Derncrag Mountains. With one last glance at the enemy, you lead your 10 rangers on a deadly race along the Rhiannon Pike. Wow, so we just passed from 50 From a group of 50 ranger to a 10. Wow, already? I'm pretty sure I will finish like every time like a lone wolf with no surviving men with me. There is 10 rangers with me, but soon I will be alone. I'm sure. Your tactics have worked. The bandits ignore your small group of horsemen and pursue the other toward the west. Once they reach the wooded foothills of the Crag Mountains, your rangers will have no difficulty evading the enemy among the densely packed fields. When the bandits have disappeared from view, you call a halt and allow your men to rest. In spite of the number of men you have lost, they are still eager to continue the mission. Well, 0 again. You have been riding for over 4 hours when you see a flock of birds. They are black and very large and are swooping around the brow of a distant ridge. If you have the Kai discipline of animal kinship, yeah, I have it. It is my new discipline, by the way. So let's try it. You identify the birds as carrion crows, a despicable breed of wildland scavengers. Whenever a creature lies dead in the wasteland, you can be sure to find a host of these loathsome predators. If you decide to take a closer look at what they are eating, yes, and that could be a good idea. In fact, maybe that's the remaining of what the bandit attacked. So let's see. As you reach the top of the ridge, a gruesome sight meets you. The bodies of men and horse lie scattered across the shallow valley beyond, their bones picked clean by the scavenging crows. You hear the gasp of horror as your men recognize the armor and tattered white uniforms of these skeletons, for they were once your countrymen, some landing guards of the King Cavalry. Well, we found the King's Cavalry. They must have died in battle, for the corpses of the bandit warriors lie entwined among them. 40 brave soldiers, nearly half of the squadron that left home guard 1 month ago. Okay. Now lie before you, and it is with heavy earth that your men set about the grisly task of burial. As you ride away from this valley of death, you are comforted only by the knowledge that Captain Val was not among those you buried. Okay. Well, we find one piece of the puzzle. The King Cavalry was attacked by bandits. A big group of bandits, since we saw 200 of them. After many hours of riding, you reach a highway junction. You have left the wildlands and may once again use the Kai discipline of hunting to hunt for food. A large signpost indicates 2 destinations: south to Rhiannon and east to Ishnar. Well, we definitely want to investigate Ishnar, since we got a lot of reporting that something strange is happening in Ishnar. We also found the sword of Captain Val, and the sword was sold in the Ishnar town. So someone in Ishnar may know where Captain Val is. Let's go there, east. It is noon on the following day when you reach the outskirts of Ishnar. To the south, the wooded hills gradually ascend towards the magnificent snow-capped peaks of the Macan Range. It is a beautiful sight, one of stark contrast to the squalor of Ishnar and the desolate wildlands to the north. You ride along the only street in this dilapidated town and eventually arrive outside a large tavern called the Pick and Shovel. Your men are exhausted and badly in need of food and rest. If you have the Kai discipline of Sixth Sense, yes, I have it and I will use it. Also, this place is very suspicious, the Pick and the Shovel. We know that this is a place where the sword of Captain Val was found, was sell. So this may be some kind of base for brigands. We don't want to pass the night in this place. Looks very suspicious place. We are just here for the investigation. You have a very uneasy feeling about this town. So far you have only seen women and children shuffling along the street. There has been no sight of any men whatsoever. The inhabitants all seem nervous and avoid looking you directly in the eye. Instinct tells you to turn around and leave as quickly as possible. Okay. If you wish to press on regardless of your instincts, you can investigate the tavern. If you wish to continue along the street. Well, we went in this town just to investigate this tavern. So it could be very dumb to just go back because of some instincts. I mean, we are a group of 11 elite warriors. I think we can investigate this place. The only thing that can happen if the population is linked to the brigand and there is a huge riot in the town, that could be quite dangerous. But well, that's the risk. We have to investigate. We are here for that. So let's investigate the tavern. Your men tether their horses and follow you into the tavern. An old woman stands behind a bar, her face taunt and leaned as if in pain. She wears men's clothes, a shirt and checkered trousers. The tavern is empty, but the tables are covered with ale mugs. Many half full of beer. Okay, well, this looks more and more dangerous, like a very big trap. If you feel uneasy about the tavern and wish to leave town, if you wish to question the old woman. Yes. There is so many warning right now saying do not continue what you are doing. There is so many warning. I just hope I won't die from that. You have barely taken a dozen steps when the old woman drops to the floor. A ranger shouts, "Ambush!" It is the last word he will ever speak. A rather sharp disc of metal whistles down from the balcony above and sinks into his chest. Then, suddenly, the tavern is full of bandits, pouring in through windows and doors. Three charge straight at you. Their battle cries loud and savage. You draw your weapon and strike, beheading two of the dark-skinned warriors with a single blow. A third bandit is upon you before the bodies of the others have fallen to the floor. Well, we call it. That was not a surprise. But well, I hoped I could talk to the woman before the attack. Looks like not. Well, I have the Mind Blast power, which gives me a bonus of 2 to my combat skill. I have very huge combat skill compared to my enemy, so it will be a very quick battle. Well, he managed to scratch me. Oh, wow. It's kind of a lucky bastard. Okay, I lose 3 hit points. Well. No sooner has the first warrior collapsed when another is hacking at you from the side. As you turn to face him, a spear thrust gashes your left arm and you lose 2 endurance points. Ooh. It's now it's now time to pay the price for the greed. The fact that there was so many warnings telling do not enter the inn, just leave the town, and I decide to go against that, and now it's time to pay. I just hope there will be some uh, something at the end for what I've done. You recoil in pain, and in a crush of battle, you slip and fall to the floor, which is already strewn with bodies. Then you glimpse an open door and crawl towards it. Okay. Well, we choose to flee. Okay. 0 again. Oh, wow! Well, you are less than 5 feet from the door when a bandit warrior comes rushing in. Instinctively, you step aside, but not in time to avoid the serrated tip of his halberd. The cold steel sinks into your chest, and you stare down in horror. Blood begins to flow and pain spreads through your body. Your wound is fatal, and you die within seconds of hitting the floor. Your life and your mission end here. Well, okay. Okay. I have to remember that when there is so many warning, you have to choose another to do another choice. Well, that was my greed and mistake. Let's start over. But I think I was just at the beginning of the book. So it's not a huge problem to die now. Let's see. I need this. Change the color. Okay. Then table of contents. Number, let's see, number section, number 1. About, yeah, I have to redo this. I started with 45 gold. And I have to add 16 this time, that's good. Yep. Starting at my maximum. Inventory, let's see. I had 1 more meal. I had the magical spear. And that's all. Okay. We are ready to continue. Oh, to start again. Well, at the start, the first choice we got to do is investigate or not a hut. I didn't investigate this hut the first time. I think I won't investigate the hut this time. So let's just continue to ride along the Renan Pike. Then we meet this guy, a band of troubadours on the road. Like last time, I think I will ask to stop them and talk to them. Then they offer to join the camp for the night, so I accept. If you wish to set up camp with the troubadours, yes. Then there is some suspicious guy, and I decide to use my tracking and hunting skill to pursue him in the night. I find him. Then the guy was using the Captain Remy Adval sword, so I take back the sword. Captain Adval's sword. I put the sword in my inventory. And I continue. Then I can eat or not. I decide to not eat, and since I have the hunting skill, I don't need to use a meal for the meal. 13. Then random number 8. Oh, this is new. After journeying through the rich wheatfield of southern Summerland, the view that lies before you now look especially bleak and colorless. The landscape is flat and desolate, only relieved here and there by rugged copes of stunted firs of mounds of broken earth. You have entered the wildlands south of the pass of Moitra and cannot use guide discipline of hunting to hunt for food in this desolate area. So let's show the map again so we know where we are. We just came into the wildlands, so we must be somewhere here. Just near the Durncrag Mountains. During the afternoon, storm clouds gather above the peak of Durncrag Mountain to the west, and the roll of distance stuns the warmth of imminent rain. It is early evening when your scout find the ruins of an old temple, less than a mile from the highway. If you wish to set up camp for the night in the shelter of the ruins. Well, let's do that. The ruins are overgrown with weeds and roots, but you can make out the shape of the inner sanctum of the temple quite distinctly. The huge marble canopy is still intact and will serve as an excellent shelter from the storm. As you tie your horse to the withered shrub, you glance up to see two men hiding beneath the canopy, dressed in long black robes. You order them to come out and identify themselves, but they neither move nor answer your call. Okay, more problems ahead. If you wish to signal your men to attack the robed strangers. Why would you attack some strangers? We are not assassins. Capture them alive. Well, we just find a temple and we won't attack the people in it. Is that just silly? If you decide to sheath your weapon and approach them, your hand extended in gesture of friendship. Well, okay. That looks extremely dangerous. But let's do that. As you approach, they slip back their hoods to reveal two seemingly faces. They seem relieved to have made friendly contact in the middle of this inhospitable wasteland. Well, that was a good choice. Neither of them speaks, but they remove amulets from around their necks and offer them as some kind of identification. The small wooden fish hanging on the neck chains are symbol of the holy order known as the Redeemers, a silent order of pilgrims devoted to a lifetime of prayer and the study of healing arts. Nice. One of the pilgrims hands you a small earthenware flask that contains a potion of holy water. If you wish to keep this flask, mark it on... Oh, nice. Well, I accept. Holy water. Let's replace... Let's see. think I can replace a meal. Your men pitch camp beneath the marble canopy and preparation are made to get some sleep. You are hungry and must now eat a meal. Um, well, okay. I could have argued that I just got the amulet, I just got the holy water, and so at the same time I'm taking my meal, which is freeing my backpack from one item. Well, I think that's quite possible. So let's continue. Your rest is disturbed by the anxious shout of the night guard. Awake, awake, we're under attack! Throwing back their blankets, your men leap to their feet, peering through the teeming rain at the shadowy silhouette of horsemen circling the ruins. Suddenly, an arrow whistles through the darkness. Your lookout scream and falls to his knees. Form a circle! Keep behind cover! Rangers gather swords and shields and press themselves on the wet temple marble for protection. The sound of metal shod bolts on stone makes you spin around. A dozen warriors, dressed in shiny red armor, are clambering across broken pillars. Two rangers run to block their advance, but they are felled by one sweep of the warrior leader, broadsword. Then the warrior sees you and quickens his pace. His bloodied sword is raised to strike again. You cannot evade combat and must fight the warrior to the death. Okay. Bandit warrior again. Okay. Well, dead in 2 strike. All around you, the runes echo to the clash of weapons and the screech of battle cries. These armor-clad horsemen are not ordinary bandit clan. They fight with discipline and skill unheard of among the lowly outlaws of the wildlands. Well, we learned something. You step over the dead warriors and call about you a handful of your men. The enemy have surrounded your horses, and you must act quickly if you are to save them from being taken. You lead a charge through the ruins, piercing the enemy line. They falter and flee back into the darkness. However, by the time you have reached the temple perimeter, only 11 of your horses remain. The others have vanished. After much thought, you decide to choose 10 rangers to continue the mission with you, sending the remainder of your company back to Summerland to report what had happened. As the gloomy light of dawn gradually fills the sky, you and your chosen companion bid a sad farewell to those who must march back on foot. Okay. 8. You have been riding for over 4 hours when you see a flock of birds. Okay, again. So we use my animal kinship. You identify the birds as carrion crows, a despicable breed of wildland scavengers. If you decide to take a closer look at what they are eating, yes. As you reach the top of the ridge, and so we found the rest of the King Cavalry, but nothing else. After many hours of riding, you reach a highway junction. Okay, so this choice again. Last time we got to Ishnar, but this is some kind of trap town. So let's go straight to Rhiannon this time. It is almost dark when you reach the edge of the densely forested valley. You can just make out the highway disappearing into the trees ahead and catch sight of a signpost pointing toward the south. You are now only 40 miles from Rhiannon, but your men are tired and in need of food and rest. If you wish to set up camp at the edge of the forest, if you wish to send some men in the valley to scout for bandits, if you decide to go without food and sleep and press on the Rhiannon as quickly as possible. Edge of the forest. That's look very, very bad idea. If you wish to send some men into the valley to scout for bandits. Well, that could be good, but what the point? You decide to go without food and sleep and press on. Okay, let's press on, really. Let's not waste more time. You are helped tonight by a cloudless sky, for the highway is illuminated by the pale moonlight. You order 3 of your men to scoot ahead, for you know the notorious reputation this forested highway has for sudden bandit ambushes. Densely packed trees lining the road could easily conceal an army of robbers. Before the scouts gallop away, you order them to report anything unusual they may find on the road ahead. Within an hour you arrive at a junction where a track from the east meets the main highway. Abandoned at the side of the road is a burnt-out wagon. You sense that something is wrong. Your scouts should have reported this wagon long before you found it, and your men are worried by what may have happened to them. You know that you dare not continue your ride in case you fall into an ambush. You decide to rest at the junction and wait for the return of your scouts. Really? Wow. That's a dangerous decision. 6 hours later, as the sun slowly rises over the eastern tree line, your scouts have still not returned. Yes, obviously. If you wish to search the highway ahead, if you wish to examine the burnt-out wagon, if you wish to explore the eastern track. Eastern track. So this track will lead to. Let's take a look at the map. So we may be somewhere here right now, and so there is some eastern track. I think the eastern track just leads to Ishnar. Ishnar is the main base of the bandit. I'm pretty sure of that now. So bandit come from Ishnar. We can investigate this piste, but we already know what we'll find. Let's see, the highway ahead. Well, there was a warning right here telling do not continue by the highway ahead. Just wait 6 hours to not take this decision, so if we take this decision, it will be our doom. We can examine the burnout wagon or just explore the eastern track. Well, let's just take a look at the burnout wagon. No cargo remains inside the charred shell of the wagon. The wood is black and the metal fittings have buckled and blistered in the heat. However, in spite of the damage, you find enough proof from the ashes to confirm your suspicions. This is the wreck of a summer landing cavalry wagon, one of 3 that left for Rhiannon with Captain Val troop over a month ago. As you stand in the wagon brushing the ash from your hands, one of your men suddenly cries out in pain. You glance up in time to see him fall from his horse, a disc of sharp steel embedded in his chest. "Ambush! Take cover!" you shout as more of the deadly disc whistle off the trees to claim their victims. Frightened horses gallop in all directions. Your men desperately clinging to the reins, the hidden attackers vanish as quickly as they came, but not before 3 of your men are left dead upon the highway. After burying your dead, you must... Oh wow, you take the time to burying dead. After now, okay. You must decide on the best course of the action. For now, only 4 men remain at your side, and the hidden enemy may return at any time to finish their evil handiwork. Okay. If you wish to continue along the highway, riding full speed. If you wish to avoid the main highway and continue by the eastern track. Well, the eastern track is still something that looks dangerous. And why the eastern track? Let's go full speed to Rhiannon. It is noon before you are forced to call a halt. You have reached the edge of a ridge when the highway begins a long descent toward the wide wooden bridge. This is the Rhiannon Bridge. You recognize its toothed black timbers and the dark waters of the river Xan that flows beneath. One of the far side of the bridge lie the fire-blackened ruins of an inn and the unmistakable silhouette of bandit horsemen. At the entrance to the bridge is a white signpost pointing across the bridge to the south. Rhiannon, 12 miles. You know it will be suicidal to attempt to cross the bridge. The bandit horsemen each carry a heavy crossbow slung from their saddle. If you wish to try to cross the river further upstream to the west, if you wish to try to cross the river downstream to the east. Okay, let's take a quick look at the map again. So we are right here. Now. We are right here on this bridge. So let's see. East or west, I think that's the same. The only difference is the bandits are more on the east side, I'm pretty sure. So let's go west. Upstream, cross the river further upstream to the west. You enter the forest and descend the wooden hillside toward the river Xan. You have gone only a few yards when the trees become far too dense for you to be able to continue on horseback. Reluctantly, you signal to your men to dismount and continue on foot. You soon reach the river and follow the foam-flecked water upstream. The climb takes you through a maze of wide rock terraces worn smooth by the force of the river. Then, at the point where the torrent is fed by many smaller streams, you catch sight of 6 bandits, stabbing at the water with their spears as it thunders along the smooth hill channel. On the far bank you can see a pile of grey fish standing next to a horse-drawn wagon, which you recognize as some landing cavalry wagon. If you have reached the high rank of Warman, yes. You sense that the wagon is full of sleeping bandits. Should they wake before you cross the river undetected, or before you silence all 6 of the bandits who are fishing, you and your men will be hard-pressed to avoid death or capture. You decide that the risks are too great to attempt a crossing here, and signal to your men to follow you eastwards. Oh wow, okay. You follow the river back towards the Rhiannon Bridge, taking care to stay hidden from the bandit horsemen who now stand guard on the bridge itself. A few hundred yards beyond, you find a narrow track leading to a ramshackle boathouse. If it contained a boat, you should be able to cross the river quite easily. If you wish to investigate the boathouse, if you wish to continue downstream and look for some other way to cross the river. What are the chances for them to not guard this boathouse? I think it's a waste of time to investigate that. Let's continue downstream and look for some other way to cross the river. There is too many bandits in this place. It's too dangerous to just wander in this investigate this boathouse. For over an hour you follow the riverbank as it wends its way into the foothill of the Macon Range. The river Xan is wide and fast flowing. There are no signs of any bridges or fords in this direction. If you wish to return to the boathouse, if you wish to continue following the river toward the east. Okay. Another look at the map, I think. If I continue more this way, I will happen to be somewhere here. And if I cross, I will arrive by the east, by the Macon mines. Well, that's not that bad, I think. This will take more times, but that can surprise the bandit if they guard this place, because they will, I think, wait for an attack from the north, and maybe from the northeast, but not fully from the east. If I may cross the river right here, then march in these mountains, the Macon Mountains, and then yes, maybe I can go directly to the Macon mines without going to Rhiannon. So I wish to continue following the river toward the east. You soon discover a partially concealed mine shaft descending vertically into the hillside. As your men clear away the briars choking the shaft, you notice a ladder fixed to one side. You realize that it must be an escape shaft from the Macon mines. Nice! For they honeycomb the foothill of this mountain range. If only you can locate a Mayer tunnel, you may find a path all the way to Rhiannon itself. You kneel at the edge and peer down into the gloom. There is such an overwhelming smell of dampness and decay that you decide to send your lightest man toward the ladder to check whether it is still secure. Wow, really? All seems well, for he soon reaches a tunnel entrance far below and shoots to you all to follow. The tunnel leads to an oval-shaped, wrought-hewn chamber, the floor of which is coated with a strange silky fluid. If you have the Kai discipline of animal kinship, wow! Nice. Already using my Kai discipline of animal kinship 2 times in this adventure, so it was a really good idea to take it this time. Let's use it. You recognize the silky fluid. It is a trail of a stone worm, a dangerous subterranean predator. You warn your men not to step in the slime, for it is highly corrosive. No sooner have the words left your mouth than there is a sudden and ghastly noise. A hideous groan reverberates through the chamber, making everyone freeze in mid-step. With mounting horror, you watch as the far wall suddenly moves toward you. A crack appears, widening to reveal a row of razor-sharp teeth. You have awoken a hungry stone worm, and it intends to feast off your flesh. Your men unsheath their sword and prepare for combat. It is too late for them to turn and run. If you wish to stand and fight the stone worm, if you wish to escape from the chamber, you run back to the ladder. Well, let's fight. We are 11 men. I think we can kill this stone worm. A full odor assails your nostrils, making you choke and retch. Covering your mouth and nose, you step back and raise your weapon in readiness to strike, for the creature is slithering toward you at a frightening pace. Your men rain blows upon its gaping jaws, but the blade barely scratches the creature, glistering grey skin before they are snatched and swallowed whole. Oh, wow. Relentlessly, the stone worm advances until it is upon you. You cannot evade it, and you must fight the creature to the death. It is immune to Mind Blast. Okay. Well, it has a very low combat skill, so it should be okay. I have more than twice his combat skill. Well, I killed the worm in 2 strikes. It was not a very dangerous fight. The full creature lets out a ghastly shriek and dies, but its huge slimy body trembles and convulses for several minutes. You wait for a while before daring to squeeze past it to the chamber beyond. No trace of your men remains. Oh wow! I just lose all my men. Their bodies lies partially digested inside the stone worm carcass. With nausea rising in your throat, you turn and flee from this terrible chamber. Well, I said it earlier, I will finish this adventure alone, like always. At the start of the adventure we were 50 warrior. Now I'm just alone. They are all dead or... yeah. You follow the tunnel for 3 hours before arriving at a great hall where several tunnels, all at different depths, meet up. A series of wide stone ramps connect each tunnel to those immediately above and below. 4 levels below you, teams of men are pushing wagon loads of ore. Others dressed in red armor stand guard over the wagon pushers and urge them on with whip and curses. Oh, okay. So just find some kind of slave mine. The tunnel in which you now stand is on the highest level. You realize that the only way you can proceed is by descending the ramp to a tunnel on the lower level. To your dismay, you notice that each of the ramps is guarded by armed men. Inching forward, you peer over the edge of the ramp. 2 guards are sitting near the tunnel entrance below. They are laughing and jiggling and pointing at an empty wine flagon that lies at their feet. After watching them for several minutes, you decide they are probably too drunk to notice you. You decide to make a dash for the tunnel. Pick a random number. If you possess the Kai discipline of camouflage, add 4 to the number. Wait, I have the camouflage discipline. Let's try 7. Okay, 11. So that should make it. You slip past the guards and enter the tunnel unseen. It is wide and illuminated by a line of wall torches, whose guttering flames crackle and sputter noisily. You soon arrive at a junction where the tunnel narrows and divides in 2. If you have the Kai discipline of Sixth Sense or Tracking, I have both. You notice that the right tunnel is newly excavated, and you sense that it has yet to be completed. Rather than get caught in a dead end, you push along the left tunnel. Well, something I found in all the Lone Wolf books. When you have to choose between 2 ways, and there is a left and a right, pretty much all the time you have to take the left path. This is pretty much every time the good decision. Well, I have the healing discipline, and so that gives me 1 endurance points recovery by each chapter I go through, so I think I'm already at my maximum now. The tunnel soon emerges into a large chamber divided by a deep mine shaft. A dark-skinned warrior in tatty leather armor stands guard at the entrance to the wooden bridge spanning the shaft. He is whittling a block of wood and grumbling to himself about how unfair it is that he is given the most boring duties. On the far side of the chamber, a tunnel disappears into the west wall. You know that if you are to reach the tunnel, you must get past the guard and cross the bridge. If you possess the Kai discipline of camouflage. Yes, I have it. Using the Kai skill, you blend into the shadows of the chamber wall and slowly inch your way nearer and nearer to the bridge. Suddenly the guard puts down his block of wood and turns his back. He is rummaging in his haversack for some food. Haversack. Okay. I think the word is wrong. Well, you see your chance and sprint toward the bridge, your weapon poised to strike down the unwary guard. Pick a random number. If you have the Kai discipline of hunting, or if you have reached the Kai rank of guardian or higher, then add 3 to the number you picked. Okay. 8. Okay, nice. Your attack is swift and deadly. The guard expires before his head hits the ground. A search of his clothing reveals 3 gold, a sword, and enough food for 1 meal. Okay. Well, I don't need that. You may take whatever you wish before you cross the bridge, but remember to make the necessary adjustments, okay? As you reach the far side, you hear the sound of running footsteps in the distance. You decide not to wait to see who it is and quickly enter the tunnel in the west wall. Well, we are progressing into the mine. Less than 50 yards along the tunnel wall, you notice a lever. Your Kai instincts make you naturally suspicious of this unusual feature, and you scour the floor looking for evidence of a trap. You find nothing, but a glance at the roof reveals the underside of a wide portcullis hidden between 2 beams. Well, what person would design a trap linked to a lever? Really? So strange. You pull the lever and the portcullis falls, sealing off the tunnel behind you. To make sure you will not be followed, you smash the lever with a wedge of stone before continuing along the tunnel. Well, okay. You are hungry and you must now eat a meal. If you possess the Kai discipline of hunting, you are unable to use it within the Maken mine. Okay. You then continue along the tunnel which runs for several miles before eventually arriving at a long deserted gallery. A line of empty ore wagons lie parked along a stretch of track that disappears into the west wall of this gallery. Above the arc tunnel, a flight of wooden stairs leads to a smaller passage lit by a sputtering torch. You stay hidden in the shadows, watching the gallery for half an hour before you are satisfied that it is safe to enter. If you have the Kai discipline of tracking and if you have reached the Kai rank of aspirant or higher, yes. Judging by the smoothness of the stone floor and the condition of the ore wagons, you deduce that this gallery must service a major section of the mines. A fresh breeze that can be felt blowing out of the west tunnel, and you sense that you must be near the surface. Rhiannon lies due west, the same direction as the ore wagon tunnel. You take a deep breath and emerge from the shadows, cross the gallery, and quietly enter the archway beyond. Okay. So that means we are currently, let's look at the map. So we start here in Home Guards, we travel south. Around here I lost the majority of my men. And with 10 remaining men, we travel south more. We got into this forest. Here I choose to go east along the river. I enter into the mountain right here, and the rest of my men were killed. Then underground, I travel underground southwest, and I think I just emerged right here at the Macken mines, maybe. So I just have to go more west and maybe a little north to attain Rhiannon, which is my final destination, I think. As you make your way along the torchlit tunnel, you pass several ore wagons bearing the same design branded upon their wooden sides. A cross Moline above the initial OV. You recognize the seal of Oren Vanaland, the Baron of Rhiannon, and it confirms the fact that you are heading in the right direction. Suddenly the sound of approaching footsteps begins to echo along the tunnel ahead. They become louder, accompanied now by shooting and the crack of a whip. OV. If you wish to dive into one of the empty ore wagons, if you wish to hide in the shadow of the raw tunnel wall. Okay. Well, let's see. Empty wagon. Well, empty wagon, that means if I go in there, they will take the wagon and they will drive it further into the mine, I think. Since it's supposed to be empty, so you need to fill it. So I think that's a bad idea. Because I want to go outdoor. I want to exit the mine. So let's try to hide in shadow. I'm a master in camouflage, so should be okay. You wait with bated breath as a line of haggard men file past your barely concealed hiding place. An escort of bandit warriors urge them forward, beating any who falter or step out of the line. Then each man is forced to take hold of a wagon and push it back along the tunnel. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Soon they have all disappeared from view. You wait, and when you are sure that the coast is clear, you step back into the tunnel and press on, taking care to keep well in the shadows. You finally reach a point where the tunnel emerges into a daylight. To your left, a dense copse has been cut back from the entrance, and wagon tracks lead to the timber gantry above a mound of ore. The men and the guards who passed you are now at the gantry, but they fail to see you sprint from the entrance and dive into the trees. A brief pause for breath is all you allow yourself before setting off through the trees toward Rhiannon. Well, okay. So we made it out of the mine. The trees are alive with bandit patrols, but your quick wits and Kai skills prevent you from being seen by them. Eventually, you reach the edge of the copse. You find yourself staring out across an expanse of open plain toward Rhiannon. The sight that lies before you is very disquieting. Much of the mining town has been burned to the ground. The blackened ruins of what were once shops, cottages, and taverns are now little more than smoldering mounds of charcoal. You are beginning to fear the worst, that Rhiannon has been totally destroyed. When a gentle breeze clears the haze of wood smoke hanging like a grey curtain over the ruins, inside the perimeter of a ruined building, a barricade had been thrown up around a tower of stone. Above the tower, a tattered flag still flies, bringing renewed hope. It is the sun flag of Summerland, edged with a band of white braid. The cavalry stand out of the King Guard regiment. The sudden crack of a twig makes you freeze. You glance behind to see three bandits creeping through the trees toward you. The white steel tips of their spear glint. They seem to be coated with a clear, sticky fluid. If you possess the Kai discipline of hunting, or if you have ever visited Gorn Cove, well, you recognize Gnadern sap dripping from their spear. It is a deadly poison. You dare not risk engaging in combat with these bandits, or the merest graze from one of their taunting weapons could be fatal. Leaping for your feet, you race away from the trees and run toward Rhiannon. From all along the forest edge, groups of bandits emerge from the trees, whipped and scolded by their bullying sergeants for allowing you to escape. What? Whipping and scolded by their bullying sergeants for allowing you to escape. This spurs you to quicken your pace, and you cover the first 100 yards with ease. Then arrows begin to fall around you. You duck and weave, making yourself a difficult target for the archers, and gradually the falling shift dwindle in number. You smile at their futile attempt to stop you, but your confidence is soon shaken by a pack of snarling warhounds breaking out of the wood to your right. They are off the leash and hungry for blood. You are less than 500 yards from Rhiannon, but the warhounds are closing in. Okay, let's stop right here. So we were in the forest. For some reason now everyone is aware that we were in the forest, and we try to quickly go to Rhiannon. Looks like Rhiannon is still in a siege state. There is still some loyal people in the Rhiannon city, and we are trying to go there. And we are pursuing by warhounds. Okay. If you wish to stop and fight them, no. If you wish to quicken your pace and try to outrun them, well, we can't stop because there is some archer right behind us. You try to ignore your aching legs and the fear that knocks your stomach by forcing your concentration on the sun flag, a fluttering symbol of hope in the distance. Your face is streaked with sweat and your lungs feel as though they will burst, but you dare not slacken your pace. The thought of warhounds' fangs closing and tugging on your skin is all you need to drive you forward. At 400 yards, you can see that the barricade and watchtower are inhabited, but at this distance, the faces you can see are only a line of small pink dots on the walls. At 300 yards, you run into some gruesome remain, where the corpses of bandits lie twisted on the ground, most killed by arrows. Many have lain into the open for weeks. A flock of startled carrion crows rise shrieking from their feasts as you race through the bodies. You turn away in disgust. Suddenly a new sound drifts across the plain, the sound of cheering. The beleaguered defenders have spotted you and recognized your green Kai cloak. 200 yards to go. You have just passed the ruins of a burned-out cottage when you feel an agonizing pain tear through your left thigh. An arrow has pierced your leg, and you pitch forward into the mud and ash. Crouched in the ruined cottage, a bandit sniper raises his bow and takes careful aim at your head. Oh, wow. Well, I think if you made 0 now, you're dead. Oof. 5. An arrow hisses overhead. A scream of agony fills the air. The bow slips from the archer's fingers as he sinks to his knees. The arrow lodged deep between his startled eyes. The clack of fang and the soft, swift pad of stealthy feet tell you that the warhound are closing in. You look up to see a man running toward you from the barricade. He has a shield in one hand and a long bow in the other. It is the guard Captain Val. He reaches you, breathless from his run, and draws an arrow from his quiver. Dval aims and fires, drawing another arrow from his quiver as soon as the first is loosed. The warhound tumbles and crashes to the ground around you, felled by Dval's deadly shaft. Hate lies dead before his quiver is empty. The captain grabs you by the arm and, swinging you over his shoulder in one swift motion, carries you back towards the barricade. Others run forward to help you, but the bandit archers are now in range and your men are forced back by a hail of arrows. The red shaft of the enemy whistles past on all sides. You reach the barricades, a wagon is pulled aside, and you are carried in through the gap. Captain Val is close to exhaustion. He staggers and his men rush to catch him before he drops to the ground. A circle of unshaven faces are staring down at you. A soldier cradles your leg as another snaps the shaft buried deeply in your thigh. But before you can even cry out in pain, he has drawn the arrow from your leg with one swift tug. "You are very lucky, Kaelord," he says, as he bandages a handful of lamb spoor to your itching limb. "The wound is clean and the bleeding is but slight. You lose 4 endurance points." Okay. But the soldier, quick thinking and skill have saved your leg from infection. With great care, the soldier carry both you and Captain Val into the stone watchtower. "I was hoping the king would send a large search party," said Captain Val, really now having fully recovered from his exhaustion. I was beginning to tire of this town." You rise from your straw bed and offer your thanks for the captain. His brave and timely action saved you from certain death. "'Tis nothing to compare with you, Lone Wolf. Your bravery is legend. Your presence here is worth 100 men." He asks you about your mission, and you recount the events that have led you to this meeting. The ride south, the loss of your company, your passage through the Macan mines, and the bandits. "Yes, the bandits, Baraka's men." "Yes, the bandits, Baraka's men," retorted Val, his gruff voice covering his contempt for them and their leader. "It seems we have both suffered at his hand. A month ago, he and his Vassagonian renegades ambushed my troops on the Rhiannon pike. We were sorely outnumbered, and the fight was indeed bitter. But we broke free from them and escaped here to Rhiannon. We have been beleaguered ever since and praying for help to arrive. We have enough weapons to resist them, but we have barely enough food and water to survive. You ask what has become of the people of Rhiannon. Most are now slaves. Baraka has taken the mines and used the Rhiannese as forced labor. Other than yourself, only one man has escaped from the mines and survived. The warhounds and the bandit snipers. That man is Baron Ren Vanaland. Come, I shall take you to him. Dval leads you to the topmost chamber of the watchtower and pushes open an iron-shod door. The sight that greets you fills your heart with sorrow and pity. Oren Vanaland is the 15th Baron of Rhiannon, a noble warrior of royal lineage, and fifth in succession to the throne of Summerland. This once proud and chivalrous warrior now lies upon the cold stone floor of the chamber, red-eyed and whimpering like a frightened dog. He has lost everything, said Val quietly. Baraka has destroyed his castle, his land, his town, and his family. His sons are dead, and his only daughter had been taken captive by Baraka himself. I fear the ordeal has turned his mind. The pathetic man raises his tear-stained face, and with feeble voice mutters a curious rhythm over and over again. When a fair royal maid on the altar dies, the dead of Macengorge shall rise. Okay. Well, so does that mean that his daughter will be sacrificed in the Macengorge mine in order to rise some kind of undead army? Well, I think that's the main plot. I will do some kind of save right now, since I think I'm at maybe half of the adventure. I think that's a good place to make a save point, because we are in some kind of safe place. So I will do that. Let's see the flag. That. I'm only making save point when I think I've progressed very far in the book and in the adventure, and I think it's a place where if I have to redo all this, I think I won't find anything new. So let's save with this number. If you possess, or not, if you possess a scroll, if you do not possess a scroll, well, in fact, no. Let's not save. I do not have the scroll. You must save her, Lone Wolf. You must prevent the sacrifice. The Baron's voice is choked with emotion. Save who? Who must be saved? Questioned Captain Val, as he tries to calm the excited Baron. My daughter, Maidellon, of course. Tears are welling up in his eyes, and nervously he wrings his hands. Then he utters the ominous prophecy. When the full moon shines on the temple deep, the sacrifice will stir from sleep the legions of long-forgotten lord. When a fair royal maid on the altar dies, the dead of Macengorge shall rise to claim their long-awaited reward. Don't you see? Baraka has found the dagger of Vashna. He is going to sacrifice my daughter upon the altar of Maken to realize the undead Macengorge, the Chasm of Doom. During the age of the Black Moon, King Ulna of Summerland killed the mightiest of all the Dark Lord, Vashna, with the Summer Sword, the Sword of the Sun. So mastered. That's my weapon. Vashna's body and the bodies of all his troops were hurled into the bottomless abyss of Macken Gorge. He plans to lead the dead to victory, first to conquer Summerland, and then all of the last lands. You stare at the Baron in stunned silence. If Baraka completes the sacrifice, all is lost. What mortal army can stand against a legion of dead? Captain Val assures you from the chamber and closes the door. I feared he was insane, and I refused to listen to his word. But the events of the last few days confirm my worst nightmare. He speaks the truth. As the dreadful significance of prophetic verses begins to chill your spine, your doubts are broken by the shrill blast of a war horn. Captain Val strides over to a narrow slit in the wall and looks out across the desolate plain. As he turns to speak, his face is ashen grey. The bandits, they are launching an attack. If you possess the Captain Val sword. Yes, I have the Captain Val sword. You draw the sword and offer it to the captain. A look of surprise and delight crosses his face as he examines the blade. I never expected to see my trusty steel again. It is a good omen for battle ahead. Thanking you, the captain sheathes his sword in his cupboard that until now has hung empty from his belt. Okay, so I don't have it anymore. You follow Captain Val as he hurries down the broad watchtower step and out to the barricade. A roaring sound like distant thunder fills the air. Cavalry are pouring onto the plain from all sides, grouping up into battalions in preparation for an advance. Columns of foot soldiers in bright scarlet armor march through their ranks, herding a frightened wall of people before them. The Rianese, cries Val, his hand shielding the light from his eyes. That cur Baraka is using them as a shield. All around you, the captain's men have drawn their bowstrings, awaiting his signal to fire. But it is an order he dare not give. Suddenly, a hidden catapult hurls a massive black rock through the air, straight toward the barricade. You stare in horror as it bursts into flame and disintegrates, showering a rain of blazing oil on everyone beneath. The soldiers cannot evade the deluge, and many are badly burnt before the flames are smothered. A battle cry resounds from the enemy ranks, the signal to attack. The Rianese are pushed aside and trampled by the onrush of scarlet warriors who now race toward the barricade. The blazing oil has scattered Valmen, and the barricade is poorly defended. You hear Val shout your name. His cloak and tunic are ablaze, and he is screaming for your help. If you have reached the high rank of Wormharn, yes. You must rally the defenders, or all is lost. You order 2 soldiers to help the captain, and then leap onto an overturned wagon in order to see clearly the enemy advance. They have already reached the ruined perimeter of Rhiannon and are now creeping forward under cover of the broken cottage walls. You shout order to Dvalmen to defend the barricade, but the enemy are less than 100 yards from the wall. You are afraid it might be too late to repel their attack. The Vassagonian bandits break cover and charge, and you give the order to fire. A cloud of arrows swept down upon the armor-clad men, the ardent tips penetrating their scarlet plate. The first wave of assailants tumble and falls. The second wave falters. Another volley forces them back, and they retreat to the ruins to reorganize themselves. Here and there, groups of bandit warriors have survived the hail of death and reached the barricade. Most are slain as they try to enter, but a small and determined section of their bloodiest fighters are broken through close to where you stand. Suddenly, a thick-bodied warrior with oily black hair tied in a knot of the back of his carried head leap into the wagon and attack you. I think I recover all my health. So let's do this battle. 18 combat skill, 25 endurance. Let's fight. 2 each. Okay. If you win the fight, Dval runs past the wagon, leading a dozen of his best swordmen in a counter charge and driving the enemy all the way back to the barricade. None escape alive. Those who survived Dval's swordmen are cut down on the plain by his archers as they run toward the ruins. The shout of victory has barely died away before you are faced by a new threat. A mantle, a large shield on wheels, is being pushed slowly across the body-stone battleground toward the barricade. Arrows shaped stone bristle from his thick wooden planks. Adval men fire their bow time and time again in an attempt to hit a shielded foe. Suddenly a rugged figure darts from behind the mantle and levels a black staff at the barricade. Okay. Suddenly, a robot figure darts from behind the mantle and levels a black staff at the barricade. He is cut down by a arrow, but not before he has let loose from his staff a guttering ball of flame. It cartwheels across the plain and exploded with a tremendous roar, hurling the bodies of defenders and shattered barricade high into the air. Through the cloud of dust and debris, you can see a line of enemy cavalry charging across the plain. They wear tall plumpered helmets and polished steel and breastplates of deepest crimson. In the wake of the fireball, they pour through the remains of the barricade and attack. They give no quarter. A horseman spurs his horse toward you, his lance leveled at your chest. If you wish to stand and fight the horseman, if you wish to run back to the watchtower. Well, let's kill him, I think. I don't want to expose my back to an horseman. The horseman is charging at you very quickly. You will only be able to fight for 1 round of combat before the momentum of his attack carries him past you. If you advance point than your enemy. Okay, let's see. Battle 28. Mind blast. I'm at 22. Well, I should be at more than that. 23 at least. So let's see. Well, he lost a lot more than me. I'm at 21 now. If your enemy loses more endurance points than you in this round of combat, your blow has unhorsed the bandit. He falls to the ground heavily, shattering his lance beneath him. He staggers to his feet and raising his high shield off his helm. He stares at you and smiles wickedly, exposing a jagged line of blackened teeth. He spits his battle cry and runs toward you, unsheathing a broadsword as he closes in. If you wish to fight the warrior. Yes. You are in combat with a Vasagonian horseman who is now on foot. You cannot evade him, and you must fight him to the death. Well, that's a lot of fighting, but we are in the middle of battle, so I think it's normal. Well, I only lose 1 hit point. You run half crouched to the barricade and prise a bow from the hand of a dead soldier. You have spotted the leader of the bandit cavalry, a tall, dark-skinned warrior with a thin, chisel nose, rallying his horsemen at the foot of the stone watchtower. You know you must kill him before he can regroup his troops. Ordval and his hard-pressed men will be ridden down and mercilessly slaughtered. You notch an arrow and draw back the bowstring. The straining cord bites into your finger and you take aim. If you have the Kai discipline of any weapon at 2. Ooh, I don't have that. Well, 6. You release the arrow and it whistles through the air and buries itself deeply into the mail-clad shoulder of the bandit leader. You hear his scream of pain ring out above the din of battle, but even though he is badly wounded, he still attempts to rally his men. You stoop to take another arrow, but to your horror, your dead soldier quiver is empty. Looking up, you see 2 dismounted Vasagonian horsemen clambering across the barricade towards you. You throw down your bow and run to a large water cask defended by a stout Somlanding sergeant. The ground around the cask is carpeted with enemy dead. Shoot the leader, you command, pointing toward the enemy officer. The sergeant aims and fires his bow with one swift and fluid movement. The arrow arcs through the battle smoke and pierces the officer's shiny breastplate. Slowly his cruel eyes flicker and close as he slips from the saddle, the shaft lodged deep into his heart. Oh, well done. To me! To me! Captain Val's voice boomed out above the battle noise. Rally to me, Somlanding! The brave captain draws about him a shielded wedge of soldier and charges into the flank of the horsemen. They reel and buckle as the shielded wedge ows its way through their company. A Vasagonian herald, his crimson armor torn and his face smearing with blood, breaks free from the battle and sounds a retreat. You watch as the surviving bandits spur their mount to the gallop, desperate to escape through the rugged hole in the barricade. Gripped by panic and fatigue, they ride through their own foot soldiers who are advancing to support them. The infantry falter and collapse as the cavalry ride them down. Captain Val leads his men at the barricade and directs a lethal volley of arrows into the shattered infantry. It is the last straw. They throw down their weapons and flee from the clouds of arrows raining down on them from out of the smoke-filled sky. A battle cry, proud and strident, pursues them across the plain. For Somlanding! For Somlanding! All around the barricade, the enemy are retreating in a disorder. Bandit war horns announce the withdrawal, exhorting the defeated warrior to flee the battlefield. A jubilant Captain Val emerges from the war smoke, his eyes shining like jewels beneath the rim of the battering helmets. We have triumphed, Lone Wolf. We have vanquished the foe.